Do you have to be beautiful to be successful? This is something that I've questioned and pondered in my own life a lot. Especially as a creator, there are these unspoken rules about how you have to show up. So let's unpack this today and explore what it means to be truly successful and truly beautiful. It's Anita and welcome to the Creative Studio Sessions. These are the spaces where I share ideas and thoughts on living a brave, creative, and a meaningful life. And today, this is a topic that has been in my heart literally for over a decade, because beauty is one of the key things that we see put out there in media, especially in advertising, and it's something that is sold to us, this particular ideal of beauty, and also the silent requirement for how we're supposed to live life. As if you want to be successful, you have to look a certain way. And this is something that I've kind of fought and navigated for a long time. As I've traveled the world, I've also developed my own standards for success and for beauty and what that means. And then moving back to Toronto 2 years ago, I found myself in this completely different world and kind of having to figure out, how am I going to live here? What standards am I going to play by? And whose standards am I going to fight? And which ones will I adopt? And which ones will I just set a different bar for myself? So in this video, I just want to have a conversation. I'm not necessarily here to say that one is right or wrong. I just want to share some thoughts to hopefully help you think a little bit clearer and help me think a little bit clearer as well. Because as you can see, I'm not wearing any makeup and I haven't done my hair. This is just what I look like in the morning. And it was important to me, if I'm going to talk about beauty, to really just be myself, and also for me to see how it feels like as well. Because to be frank, there is something called pretty privilege. If you haven't heard of it, look it up. It basically is the idea, and it's also proven, that people who are considered beautiful or who look pretty get treated differently. And as much as we want to be like, no, that doesn't exist, it does exist. And there's been studies that have done to prove it, and even if you just look around at your own life, the people who seem to look more beautiful and the people who don't fall into that category of conventional beauty, we treat them differently. And it's just something to be aware of, because when I became aware of it, I just decided for myself, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna wear makeup so that people treat me differently, or I treat myself differently? Or am I going to train myself to just be myself? So here's another interesting fact about beauty. Studies have shown that beauty is actually, what we think as beauty is actually the average of what we actually see. So when you're looking at 1,000 faces, the person that someone would select as beautiful is actually the average of those faces, because the people on either end of the spectrum that have really extreme features, whether for example it's super skinny or super big or super curly or super straight, we tend to pick something in the middle. If you think about it, even with hair we consider beauty is not super curly or frizzy, and it's not super flat either. It's something in the middle with the right volume and the right amount of curls, but not too many curls. So for me, knowing that the things we think as beautiful, especially when it comes to appearance, are really just the average of what we see, it just takes some of the glory off of what we think as beautiful. And for me, I like to deconstruct when I'm adopting the wrong attitudes, so that's what I've done. In addition to seeing the average of faces, beauty, what we think of as beauty, is also strongly affected by what we see in the media. Because if you see a poster where someone says, look 10 times younger, and there's this face of someone who looks permanently 32 years old, whether we like it or not, the fact is we absorb that message and then we think to ourselves, it's better to look younger. It's better to look younger, and that is exactly what the attitude that our society has adopted. And it wasn't like someone told you it. All you did was look at a poster, and your brain reads the message and processes it, and absorbs it. So unless you're aware of it, it's just something that affects us. I actually noticed a difference in how I felt about myself after coming back to the city, because when I'm traveling, I'm not paying attention to advertising, and I also see how different cultures have different standards of beauty. So I kind of just pick my own way to live, and I live. However, now that I'm in the city for the next little while, I've just advertising is everywhere. It's in the newspaper, it's on the streets, you go to the grocery store, you can't even avoid all of that advertising. So I started to notice that I was getting more self-conscious about my body and how I looked, and my pores and my face and my freckles. And I needed to take a step back because I knew that it wasn't serving me to look at myself and deconstruct my face and almost every day look at myself in the mirror and decide whether or not I'm beautiful. That is not how I want to live my life, and I do not recommend that you live your life by the world's standard of beauty as well. So I want to share a little bit of my story of how I've navigated being a female and an online creator and a traveler. And hopefully this will just give you permission for you to define beauty and success on your own standards. So fun fact, I didn't even learn how to properly put makeup on my face until I was 28. And I'm kind of proud of that, because as much as it's cool to know how to put makeup on properly, I was raised in a family where no one wears makeup. My sister doesn't wear any makeup, and growing up my mom never wore makeup. That was just not something that we did. I didn't see it around, and the friends I had didn't wear makeup either. I guess that you can tell I wasn't one of the popular kids in high school, because usually the popular kids are wearing makeup in some form. So I was content to not wear makeup and to just wake up and live the face that I wake up with every day. And it was actually weird to me as I got older and I went to university, and the only times I would put makeup on was when we went out to parties, and it always felt a little bit weird, because why are we dressing up? Are we dressing up for ourselves or for others? And of course there is an element of dressing up where it is for yourself. It's just part of the fun. It's kind of like decorating your house. You decorate your body and your face. And as I've grown, I've also come to accept that makeup is not a bad thing. So I learned how to put makeup on properly from a friend that I made who's a makeup artist. And she also believes in clean cosmetics, so we really got along and we're like kindred spirits. So I was like, okay, I want you to be the person who teaches me how to put makeup on. So as we chatted a lot and I heard her story, it's funny because we come from totally different spectrums of perspectives on beauty. I am a big proponent of just natural beauty and being comfortable in your own skin and not needing to wear makeup to be comfortable with who you are. She grew up differently and she found makeup at a young age, and it was like art and fun to her. And it also gave her a sense of confidence that she didn't have. And I totally understand that, because who am I to say that if you are on a journey of self-confidence, which honestly we're all on that journey, who am I to say that you should not put makeup on if makeup makes you feel a little bit more confident and proud of who you are? I think it's important in life to learn how to live and love yourself even without makeup, but who am I to say that that's a bad thing, because it's still a step forward. So I had these conversations with this friend, and as she's teaching me how to put makeup on properly for the first time, because I never even knew how to put eyeshadow on, and I would just kind of the makeup I used to do, which you can see in some of my older videos, is I'd put powder on my face, and then I'd put eyeliner and some mascara and kind of do my brows. Wasn't really sure how to do my brows, and I was like, that's it, that's all I'm gonna put on. I wanted to keep it simple, and I still like to keep it simple. And so I was like, okay, one of the things that really in the past year motivated and inspired me to learn how to put makeup on properly is the fact that I am a working professional in the media industry now. And it's important as a woman in the world to know how to put makeup on yourself. I think that's important. It's like if you know how to dress business casual or business smart, these are just things to know. Could I get by in life without ever knowing how to wear makeup? Probably. But it just felt like a skill to add to my toolkit, just like I know how to edit videos and I know how to take photos, like why don't I learn how to put makeup on properly? So as my friend put my makeup on and I looked at myself in the mirror afterwards, the words out of my mouth were, oh my gosh, I look like I could be famous. And just this light bulb went off in my head and I was like, every time we look at famous people, they don't even look the way they look because they're all wearing makeup. And the crazy thing I realized is when we put makeup on and we think that we're more beautiful, what we're actually doing in our brains is like we're making our faces look more like famous faces, right? There's a certain way that their eyes stand out and their brows frame their face, and that is all makeup though. And so it's this crazy thing of like, we're all reaching towards this standard of beauty that nobody even looks like naturally. How weird is that? Like, even celebrities famous people have to put makeup on their face to reach this invisible standard of beauty. And then we put makeup on our faces also in order to like reach towards this invisible standard of beauty. But none of us actually look like that invisible standard of beauty. Even dolls, when you're little, Barbies and stuff, they are wearing makeup. So in my life journey, I've gone from not wearing makeup for my entire like teenage years, most of my 20s, and then traveling. I would never wear makeup because it was completely impractical. First of all, I didn't want to carry makeup, and if you're in the jungle and it's humid all the time, you're sweating like crazy, I'm not going to put makeup on because it's just going to melt off and it feels disgusting, at least to me. To this point now where I work in media and I live in a city and makeup is just like, there's a lot more people wearing makeup, period, because there's also a lot more people. To knowing how to do it and to navigating that world. So one of the personal decisions that I've made working in the city was I decided, so when I first got my job, one of my jobs working in digital media, I realized that some of the people wear makeup and some people don't. And I was trying to figure out like, oh, should I wear makeup? Because I wore makeup to my job interview and I'm gonna look different without makeup. And so for the first couple of weeks, I would just do my brows, maybe put a little bit, and then like it looks weird if you just do your brows. And I was like, what do I do? And at this point, I didn't know how to put makeup on yet. And so I made a conscious decision that I was not going to wear makeup at work. I would only wear it if I absolutely needed to, like if I was filming something. And actually a couple months later, I got another job where I do make videos. So pretty much every Friday when I'm making videos for this other company, I put makeup on. And that is the only day that I wear makeup, and the rest of the time I don't. And that's a personal decision that I've made. And you get to make the decision for yourself. As you can tell, I'm not wearing makeup right now, but it is very important to me that I am comfortable in my own skin without makeup, especially because I like making vlogs and I want to vlog, and it kind of defeats the purpose of a vlog, which is just to share my life, if I pause to put makeup on, because now I'm not showing you my real life. I'm showing you literally a cosmetically improved version of myself. So I'm still navigating that, and sometimes in vlogs I will be wearing makeup and sometimes I'm not. All of my creative studio sessions I wear makeup because it makes me show up differently. And this is the other thing that I want to just put out there for you guys. 99.9% of YouTubers that you watch are wearing makeup, and especially female ones. And that is something that I can't help. And like, I wish I lived in a world where no one wears makeup. But the reality is that most of the female creators you watch are wearing makeup. And as someone who's just putting stuff out online, it's kind of this invisible requirement that's out there. And so I could make all of my videos without makeup, but do I want to? This is something that I ask myself, like, do I want to just do all of my videos without makeup? And to be honest, it's kind of fun to put makeup on. As if you're someone who wears a ton of makeup, you know that it actually is fun. It's like making art on your face. I learned this from my makeup artist friend as she was talking about colors and palettes and powders and all this stuff, and I watched her try all these colors. I realized why people love makeup. It's like art, and when you put makeup on your face, it's like putting art every day on your face. And one of the best things is it's not just art that sits on a wall, it's art that when you walk around, you also feel more confident. It's just a part of who you are. So if you are female, I just want to encourage you that you do not have to wear makeup to be beautiful. Do you have to wear makeup to be successful? No. Does it help? Yes. Do you have to wear makeup all the time? No. If you want to wear makeup all the time, can you? Should you? Well, can you? Yes. Should you? I would personally say no, because makeup is like extra stuff that you put on your face, and it's really good to let your skin breathe sometimes. So I actually recommend do not wear makeup all the time. But if you're at a stage in life, which I've heard these stories before, where like you just feel like you have to wear makeup to be confident with who you are, you don't want anyone to see your skin because maybe you've got acne or just scars, like be okay with that and let yourself be loved and learn to love yourself through those experiences too. It's okay. Like this is kind of sad, but I'm gonna admit it. Like I used to judge people who wore makeup all the time. I was like, why do you have to do that? Like, why don't you just be confident in your skin? But now, especially after meeting my makeup artist friend, I really understand that it's just part of the journey. It's like how some people really like to be dressed up and it makes them more confident. So I really invite you to explore this topic for yourself. Don't just take it for granted that you have to wear makeup to be successful or beautiful. There are a lot of people who are quite powerful in the world and they do not wear makeup. However, it is a useful skill to learn as a female person in the world, and thankfully there are tons of makeup tutorials online that you can learn from, and let it be something that you learn. I also invite you to not go overboard and be someone that puts 60 products on your face. However, if that's your jam, who am I to say that you shouldn't enjoy it? Because we all have different callings and different passions in life. So my heart for making this video was really just to communicate to you that you can be beautiful in your own way, and so can I. And anytime you find yourself adopting someone else's ideal for perfection, success, or beauty, take a step back and remember that some people are just naturally gifted with particular skills or looks. There are some people who are naturally skinny, and so they fit a perfect aesthetic for yoga photos. But there's other people who don't, and it doesn't mean you can't practice yoga or you can't exercise. There's actually this really inspiring yogi called Jessamine Stanley. You can find her on Instagram. She's a plus size yogi and a body positivity activist, which I love. And she can do handstands, and it's just so incredible to watch her shine in the world, because I know that her presence out in the world, just being a plus size yogi, is inspiring to so many people, including me. So anytime I find people who are just breaking down barriers and standards for success, whatever the first world thinks that is, that's what inspires me. So I hope that you found this video helpful, or at least uplifting. Feel free to let me know in the comments your thoughts on this topic. If you want to join me on my creative journeys and adventures with and without makeup, you can find me on Instagram at Anita or read more on my blog. Thank you so much for watching and just for being here and sharing this space with me. I'll see you in the next one.